Kim woke to the sound of rain leaking through the broken roof of the old cocoa storehouse. The smell of mold and rotting wood filled the air. Beside her, Mama Adana lay on a thin mat, her blind eyes staring at nothing. Her hands moved through the darkness, searching for Nkem's face. "Did you sleep at all?" Mama Adana whispered. "A little," Nkem lied. On the other side of the small space, her younger brother Chima coughed. His body shook with fever. The sound was wet and painful. They had no food. Not even Gary. The small clay pot where they kept their last coins was empty. Nkem's stomach twisted with hunger, but she ignored it. She'd ignored it for 3 days now. "I'll go to the market," she said, standing up. "Maybe the women will give us cassava peelings." Mama Adana's face tightened with shame. My daughter should not have to beg for peelings like a goat. But what choice did they have? As Nkem stepped outside into the gray morning, she heard voices from the path. Market women. Whispering. "That's the river-cursed girl. Ever since she came back to the village, nothing goes right. They say she brings bad luck. Her father's death. The bad harvest. All her fault." Nkem's hands curled into fists. Then she heard something worse. "I heard the elders are reassigning her father's land today. To her uncle." Her heart stopped. Nkem ran back inside. "Mama, they're taking Papa's land. Today." But before Mama Adana could respond, Chima's cough turned violent. His small body convulsed. Blood appeared at the corner of his mouth. "Chima." Nkem dropped to her knees beside him. His skin was burning. His eyes rolled back. "Medicine," Mama Adana cried. "He needs medicine now." Nkem grabbed Chima and ran. Her bare feet pounded the dusty path toward the village. The patent medicine shop was her only hope. She burst through the door, Chima limp in her arms. "Please," she gasped. "My brother. He's dying." The pharmacist, Mr. Obi, looked at her. Then looked away. "I cannot help you. Please. I'll pay you back. I swear." "No." His voice was hard. "I've been warned not to give your family anything on credit." Nkem's blood went cold. "Warned? By who?" Mr. Obi's eyes shifted nervously. "A big man. Very powerful. He said if I help you, I'll lose my license." The world tilted. "Who?" Nkem demanded. But she already knew. Mr. Obi leaned closer and whispered, "Your uncle. He said to send you to him if you want help." Nkem felt rage and despair fight in her chest. Her uncle. The man who smiled at Papa's funeral while counting the inheritance in his head. Chima coughed again, weaker this time. She had no choice. Uncle Emeka's house was made of concrete blocks and painted bright yellow. A new motorcycle sat outside. The zinc roof shone in the sun. Everything Papa should have owned. Nkem knocked. Hard. Uncle Emeka opened the door, palm wine on his breath. His large belly pushed against his shirt. "Ah, Nkem. I knew you would come. Chima is sick. He needs medicine. Medicine costs money." Uncle Emeka smiled. "But family should help family, no?" He gestured her inside. On his table were papers. Official-looking documents with stamps and signatures. "I have good news," he said. "Your father's land is now properly registered. In my name." Nkem's hand shook. "That land is ours. Papa left it for us. Your father left nothing in writing. I am the eldest male. The land is mine by law." He tapped the papers. "See? All legal. You forged those. Careful." His smile disappeared. "I'm offering you a solution. Sign this paper. Give up all claims to the land. In return, I'll give you money for the boy's medicine. Sign away our only inheritance? It's already mine. I'm just making it official. This way, you get something. Kem looked at the papers. At Uncle Emeka's satisfied face. No, she whispered. No? He laughed. Then go. Watch the boy die. It's your choice. She turned to leave. I expected you to refuse, he called after her. Which is why I have other plans. The door slammed behind her. By evening, the whole village knew. The elders called a meeting at the square. Kem stood alone while villagers gathered in a circle. Uncle Emeka sat with the elders, looking righteous and concerned. This girl, Elder Okafor began, refuses family help. She is too proud. Too stubborn. Her uncle offers her a home, money, care for the sick boy, another elder added. But she rejects it. Why? Whispers spread through the crowd. She wants to seduce rich men instead. I saw her walking near the highway yesterday. Looking for cars to stop. Shameless girl. No wonder her father died of shame. Kem's face burned. None of it was true. None of it. There is an old law, Elder Okafor said, his voice heavy. A taboo. No stranger must help this girl after dusk. If they do, misfortune follows. Kem's blood ran cold. They were isolating her. Trapping her. Why, she asked, her voice breaking. Why are you doing this? No one answered. As the crowd dispersed, Kem saw them. 3 men. Hired thugs. Watching her shelter from across the square. Uncle Emeka saw her notice them. He smiled. The message was clear, refuse again, and something worse than shame would come. That night, Kem couldn't sleep. She lay awake, listening to Chima's labored breathing and Mama Adana's quiet prayers. They were trapped. Hunted. Alone. And the darkness was closing in. The next evening, Kem walked the forbidden dusk road with a clay pot balanced on her head. She'd gone to the stream because they had no water, taboo or not. The sky turned orange and purple. Shadows grew long. Then she heard it. An engine sputtering. Dying. A massive black SUV rolled to a stop on the road ahead. Luxury. Expensive. The kind of car she'd only seen on billboards in town. The driver got out, phone in hand, cursing. No signal. Nothing. How is there no signal here? Then the back door opened. A man stepped out. Tall. Elegant. Wearing clothes that cost more than her entire village had ever seen. His face was calm, controlled, but his eyes scanned the situation with sharp intelligence. He was the man from the billboards. Everyone knew his face. Tabena Okafor. CEO of Okafor Industries. Billionaire. Untouchable. Their eyes met. Kem froze. She should run. The taboo. The elder's warning. But the driver was panicking. Sir, we're stuck. The meeting in Lagos. I know, Tabena said quietly. His voice was steady. Measured. Then he looked at Kem again. His eyes dropped to her neck. To the small carved pendant she always kept hidden in cloth. His expression changed. Just slightly. Recognition? Confusion? Kem's hand flew to her chest, covering the pendant. You, Tabena said gently. Do you know where we can find help? She should say no. Should walk away. But something in his voice made her pause. It wasn't commanding. It was asking. There's a mechanic, she heard herself say. In the next village. She led them down the path, walking ahead while the driver pushed the SUV. Tabena walked beside her, silent. Thank you, he said finally. You didn't have to help. It's just directions, Kem said, keeping her eyes down. Still. Not everyone would stop. They reached the mechanic's shop. Old man Jasper came out, wiping grease-stained hands. "This will take time," Jasper said, looking at the engine. "Maybe 2 hours." Tabena nodded. He turned to Nkem. "Can I give you a ride home? It's getting dark." "No." The word came out too fast. He studied her face. "Are you afraid of me?" "I'm afraid of kindness," she said before she could stop herself. His eyes softened with something like understanding. Behind him, his phone buzzed. He answered. "Yes. I know. The engagement announcement can wait until tomorrow." "Yes, I'm aware the governor expects." Nkem's heart sank. Engagement. Of course. Men like him didn't stay unmarried. He belonged to someone from his world. "I have to go," she said. "Wait." Tabena pulled out his wallet. "Please. For your trouble." "I don't want money." "Then for your family." He held out several large bills. "I can see you need it." Nkem's pride warred with Chima's fever. She took the smallest bill. "Only one." Then turned and ran. When she got home, a basket of food sat outside their door. Someone had followed her. Someone had tracked her home. Inside, Mama Adana touched the basket with trembling hands. "Rich gifts," she whispered, "always collect payment later." Tabena returned to Lagos. His driver navigated through traffic while he stared out the window, his mind elsewhere. He couldn't stop thinking about the girl. The pendant. The way she'd looked at him. Not with our greed, but with wariness. Like help itself was dangerous. His phone rang. The board chairman. "Tabena, we need to finalize the engagement announcement. The governor's daughter is waiting." "I know. The board requires this alliance." "You understand that, yes? Your father's will has conditions." Tabena's jaw tightened. "What conditions?" "If you marry outside approved families, the board can vote to remove you as CEO. It's in the founding documents. We just reminded ourselves of it." A threat. Wrapped in corporate language. "I see. The governor's daughter is perfect. Beautiful. Connected. This strengthens everything." Tabena ended the call. That night, at the engagement dinner, Chioma, the governor's daughter, smiled at him like she'd already won. "My father is so pleased," she said. "This union will change everything." Cameras flashed. Champagne flowed. But Tabena's mind was elsewhere. On a dusty road. On calm eyes and a hidden pendant. Later, Chioma pulled him aside. "I heard you helped some village girl today," she said, her voice light. "How charitable." "How did you know that?" She smiled. "I have people who watch." "To protect you, of course." "Of course. Just remember," Chioma said, touching his arm, "charity has its limits. We have appearances to maintain." The next morning, Tabena made a decision. He told his driver, "Take me back to that village." Tabena returned with a doctor. Quietly. No cameras. No announcement. He found Nkem fetching water again. When she saw him, she froze. "Please," he said. "I brought a doctor." "For your brother." "Why?" "Because I can help." "Will you let me?" Nkem wanted to refuse. But Chima's cough had gotten worse. He was fading. She led them to the broken cocoa storehouse. The doctor examined Chima while Mama Adana sat rigid with suspicion. "This illness," the doctor said quietly to Tabena, "it's not natural. The symptoms suggest poisoning." "Something in the water, perhaps." Tabena's expression darkened. "Deliberate?" "I can't prove it. But yes. Likely." Nkem's hand shook. Someone was trying to kill them. Slowly. Tabena knelt beside Chima and gently wrapped his own expensive scarf around the boy's shoulders. "He'll be okay," Tabena said. "I promise." In the bushes nearby, a camera clicked. Someone was watching. Recording. Kem didn't see it. But the photos were already being sent. To someone who would not be pleased. The next morning, Tabena's phone exploded with messages. All from Chioma. All containing one photo, him, kneeling beside a poor village girl's sick brother, his scarf around the boy. "We need to talk," her message said. "Now." Chioma sat across from her father in his private study. The governor's face was red with anger. "A village girl? He's visiting a village girl?" "It's worse," Chioma said, showing him more photos. "He brought a doctor. He gave them his personal scarf. People will talk." "This engagement cannot fail," the governor said. "Too much depends on it. Our family's access to Okafor Industries, the political support." "I know." "Then handle it." "How?" The governor's eyes went cold. "Make the girl disappear. Quietly. No trace back to us." Chioma nodded. She made a call. An hour later, she sat in a cafe with Uncle Emeka. She'd found him easily. Men like him were always for sale. "You want her gone?" Uncle Emeka asked. "Completely. I don't care how." "That will cost." Chioma slid an envelope across the table. More money than Uncle Emeka had ever seen. "Half now. Half when it's done." Uncle Emeka's eyes gleamed. "Consider it done." "One more thing," Chioma said. "The pendant she wears. I want it." "Why?" "Because I collect trophies." Uncle Emeka smiled. "You'll have it." That night, he gathered his thugs. 3 men. Violent. Loyal only to money. "Burn the shelter," he instructed. "Take the blind woman. Make it look like an accident. And get me that pendant." "What about the girl?" "Leave her alive. I want her to suffer first." They waited for midnight. For the moment when the village would be asleep. For the moment when no one would hear the screams. The attack came like thunder. Kem woke to shouting. To the smell of smoke. To hands grabbing her. "No," she screamed. The thugs wore masks. They threw Chima against the wall. He cried out in pain. Mama Adana reached for Nkem, but they grabbed her instead. "Mama." Nkem tried to fight, but a fist connected with her stomach. She collapsed, gasping. "This is what happens," one thug snarled, "when you chase billionaires. When you forget your place." They dragged Mama Adana toward a van. She screamed Nkem's name. Another thug held a torch. He touched it to the dry cocoa storehouse. Flames exploded upward. Nkem crawled to Chima. "Run," she choked. "Run." They stumbled out just as the roof collapsed. Heat scorched their backs. The van roared away with Mama Adana inside. Nkem stood in the orange glow of the burning building, holding Chima, watching everything they owned turn to ash. Then she felt it. Her neck was bare. The pendant was gone. One of the thugs must have ripped it off during the attack. She fell to her knees, Chima sobbing in her arms, and screamed into the night. No one came to help. The taboo held strong. By morning, Nkem made a decision. She would go to the city. To Tabena's estate. He was the only one who might help. The only one who'd shown any kindness. She had nothing left to lose. The corporate estate gates were massive. Gold-trimmed. Guarded by men in crisp uniforms. Nkem approached, Chima leaning against her. They were covered in soot and ash. "Please," she said to the guard. "I need to see Mr. Okafor." The guard looked her up and down with disgust. "You need to leave." Please. It's an emergency. My mother was kidnapped. The CEO doesn't see beggars. Another guard stepped forward. The security chief. His badge glinted in the sun. You're that village girl, he said. I've seen your photo. Please, just tell him. The CEO is engaged, the chief said coldly. To the governor's daughter. Do you understand what that means? You're embarrassing yourself. I'm not trying to. Guards. Remove her. They grabbed her arms. Dragged her away from the gate. Kem struggled. Please. My mother. They took her. Go back to your village, the chief snarled. You don't belong here. They threw her onto the road. She landed hard, scraping her hands. Chima helped her up. They stumbled away from the gate. A car passed. Its radio played the news. Breaking, billionaire CEO Tebena Okafor announces engagement to governor's daughter Chioma. Wedding planned for next month. Nkem stopped walking. The world spun. He was engaged. Officially. Publicly. Whatever kindness he'd shown had been temporary. Meaningless. She'd been a fool to hope. Chima coughed. Blood appeared on his lips again. They had nowhere to go. No money. No home. No mother. Nkem looked at the sky. It offered no answers. Only the same crushing weight it always had. Nkem walked until her feet bled. Until Chima could barely stand. They ended up at the river. The same river from the village taboo. The one that supposedly didn't take cursed people. Maybe it was time to test that. She sat on the bank, Chima asleep against her shoulder. The water moved slowly, dark and deep. I'm sorry, Chima, she whispered. I tried. I tried so hard. She'd failed everyone. Papa. Mama Adana. Chima. Herself. What was the point of continuing? She stood. Walked to the edge. The water called to her. Promising an end to pain. An end to hunger. An end to shame. She took one step. Then another. The water touched her ankles. Cold. Final. The river doesn't take what belongs to the throne. Nkem spun around. An old woman stood there. Ancient. Her eyes cloudy but seeing. She wore white, traditional priestess robes. Who are you? Nkem whispered. The one who remembers, the woman said. The one who knows what you are. I'm nothing. You are everything. And the river knows. It will not take you tonight. Before Nkem could respond, headlights flooded the trees. A car screeched to a stop. A door slammed. And Tebena's voice cut through the darkness. Nkem. He ran toward her, his face desperate. He'd come. Somehow, he'd found her. And the look in his eyes was not pity. It was fear. Fear of losing her. Nkem collapsed. And Tebena caught her before she hit the ground. Tebena carried Nkem to his car. Chima followed, half-conscious. Private clinic, Tebena ordered his driver. Now. Don't go through the estate. Direct route. Sir, the board. I don't care about the board. At the clinic, doctors rushed to help. Chima was taken to emergency care. Nkem was treated for shock and malnutrition. Tebena sat beside her bed, his hands clasped, his expression grim. When she woke, he was still there. Your mother, Nkem whispered. They took her. I know. My team is looking. They burned everything. They said it was because of you. Because I helped you. Tebena's jaw tightened. Who? I don't know. Men in masks. I'll find them. His voice was cold. Controlled. But underneath, Nkem heard rage. This was not the gentleman who'd asked for directions. This was someone else. Someone powerful and dangerous when pushed. He stood. I need to make calls. You're safe here. No one gets past my people. Your engagement is a lie, he said. A prison disguised as politics. He left the room. Kim lay in the clean white bed, in a private clinic that cost more than her village had ever seen, and tried to process it. Outside, Tabena made one call. Find them, he told his security team. Find everyone who touched her. I want names. I want locations. I want everything. Sir, this could complicate the engagement. The engagement is over, Tabena said. I just haven't announced it yet. Within hours, his team captured one of the thugs. Drunk at a local bar. Bragging about the job. They brought him to Tabena. And Tabena was no longer gentle. The thug confessed everything. Uncle Emeka hired them. Paid them. Gave them instructions. But Uncle Emeka was paid by someone else. A woman. Rich. Connected. She came to him in a cafe, the thug said. Red dress. Governor's daughter. Everyone knows her face. Tabena's blood went cold. Chioma. Where's the blind woman? Tabena demanded. Old warehouse. By the docks. Emeka's keeping her there until the rich woman pays the rest. And the pendant? Delivered to her. As proof. Tabena's hand shook with rage. But he controlled it. Channeled it. Get the police. Get my lawyers. Get everyone. We're going to end this tonight. His phone buzzed. A photo message. From Chioma. It was her. Holding Kim's pendant. Smiling at the camera like it was a trophy. The message read, found something that belongs to you. Or should I say, belonged? Some girls need to learn their place. Tabena stared at the photo. Then he made a decision. Tomorrow was the engagement dinner. A massive event. Politicians. Business leaders. Press. Perfect. He would end it all there. Publicly. Let Chioma smile for the cameras one last time. Because by tomorrow night, her world would collapse. Just like she'd tried to collapse Kim's. He called his team. Rescue the mother. Bring her to the clinic. Then prepare evidence files. Everything. I want it airtight. Sir, if you do this publicly, the board. Let them try to remove me, Tabena said quietly. I'd like to see them explain why. He returned to Kim's room. She was awake. Staring at the ceiling. I found your mother, he said. She'll be here soon. Kim's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me yet, Tabena said. This isn't over. The engagement dinner was lavish. Crystal chandeliers. Expensive wine. Cameras everywhere. Chioma wore red. Her smile was perfect. Tabena wore black. His expression was controlled. The governor gave a speech about unity and power. The board chairman toasted to profitable alliances. Then Tabena stood. Thank you all for coming, he said. I have an announcement. Chioma's smile widened. This engagement, Tabena continued, is built on a lie. The room went silent. 3 days ago, a homeless girl and her family were attacked. Their home was burned. A blind woman was kidnapped. A child was beaten. Murmurs spread. The men who did this have confessed. They were hired by Emeka Okonkwo, a village elder. And Emeka was paid by someone in this room. All eyes turned. The person who ordered this attack is my so-called fiancé. Chioma. Gasps. Cameras flashing. Chioma's face went white. That's a lie. He's been bewitched by some village witch. I have bank records, Tabena said calmly. Transfer receipts. The thug's confession. And this. He held up Nkem's pendant. This was stolen during the attack and delivered to Chioma as a trophy. My security retrieved it from her apartment an hour ago. Chioma stood, shaking. You broke into my home? With a warrant, Tabena said. For kidnapping and attempted murder. Police officers appeared at the doors. The governor stood. This is outrageous. You can't. I can, Tabena said. And I am. This engagement is over. The board chairman rose. Mr. Okafor, you are jeopardizing. I'm jeopardizing nothing, Tabena said. But you might want to review the founding documents more carefully. The chairman's face went pale. What do you mean? I mean, Tabena said, that you've all been operating on incomplete information. And tomorrow, you'll understand why. That night, Mama Adana was brought to the clinic. She was weak but alive. When she heard Nkem's voice, she wept. My daughter. My daughter. They held each other while Chima slept between them. Tabena watched from the doorway. Then quietly left them alone. Later, when Mama Adana was resting, she began to hum. A lullaby. Old. Haunting. Tabena, passing in the hallway, froze. He knew that song. His father used to hum it. Late at night. When he thought no one was listening. Tabena stepped into the room. That song, he said. Where did you learn it? Mama Adana's blind eyes turned toward his voice. I sang it to Nkem when she was a baby. Her mother taught it to me before she died. Her mother? Yes. A woman from the city. She came to our village, pregnant and afraid. She died giving birth. But before she died, she made me promise. Promise to protect the child. To keep her hidden. Hidden from what? From people who wanted her dead. Tabena's heart raced. What was her mother's name? Adiz. Adiz Okafor. The world stopped. Tabena's father had a sister. Adiz. She disappeared 20 years ago. Pregnant. The family had searched but never found her. Do you have proof? Tabena asked, his voice shaking. I have the pendant, Mama Adana said. The one the men stole. It was Adiz. She said it was part of the Okafor inheritance. Proof of bloodline. Tabena pulled out the pendant. This? Mama Adana's hands touched it. Yes. At that moment, an old man entered the clinic. Tabena's father's former lawyer. The one who drafted the original will. I received your message, the lawyer said. About the pendant. I need to see it. Tabena handed it to him. The lawyer examined it. His face went pale. Where did you get this? It belonged to my aunt. Adiz. Then the girl. Is my cousin. The missing heir. The lawyer sat down heavily. There's something you need to know. About the company. About the will. The lawyer pulled out a sealed document. Old. Official. Your grandfather founded Okafor Industries, he began. But he had conditions. The company could only be fully inherited if the true heir was publicly acknowledged. What true heir? Adiz's child. Your grandfather knew Adiz was pregnant. He knew powerful people wanted her dead because of it. So he created a protection clause. The child must be found and acknowledged. Only then can the company's full power transfer. But my father ran the company, Tabena said. As caretaker. Not owner. The board has been operating on borrowed authority. They've been hiding this clause for years. Why? Because acknowledging the heir means losing control. The board chairman, your father's supposed friend, knew about Adi's pregnancy. He's the one who drove her away. Who made her fear for her life. Tabena's fists clenched. Son Kem is the rightful heir. The company belongs to her. The board has no authority. They've been stealing from her for 20 years. Tabena looked at Kem, asleep in the hospital bed. She wasn't just a homeless girl. She was family. She was blood. She was the key to everything. The pendant wasn't just jewelry. It was proof. It was power. It was destiny. Tomorrow, Tabena said, we make it public. All of it. The lawyer nodded. The village taboo. The elders who persecuted her. It was all to hide her identity. They were paid to keep her invisible. By the board chairman. Yes. Tabena's voice went cold. Then tomorrow, he falls. The next morning, a press conference was called. Every major outlet. Every journalist. Every camera in the country. It was time for the truth. The press room was packed. Tabena stood at the podium, Kem beside him. She wore simple clothes, but her head was high. 20 years ago, Tabena began, my Aunt Adiz Okafor disappeared. She was pregnant. She was fleeing people who wanted her and her child dead. Those people included members of this company's board. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. She gave birth in a village and died. But her child survived. That child was raised in poverty, persecuted, and hidden. Until now. He gestured to Kem. This is Kem. My cousin. The daughter of Adiz Okafor. The missing heir. Chaos erupted. The board chairman tried to leave. Police blocked the doors. The village elders were paid to hide her identity, Tabena continued. To create a taboo that isolated her. To make sure she never discovered who she was. Because if she did, their power ended. Documents were distributed. The pendant was shown. DNA tests were presented. Everything was airtight. As of today, Tabena said, Kem Okafor is recognized as the rightful heir to Okafor Industries. The board's fraudulent authority is revoked. Those involved in the conspiracy face criminal charges. The governor resigned within the hour. The board chairman was arrested. Uncle Emeka was already in custody. Chioma's family's political power collapsed overnight. But the biggest moment came later. When Tabena took Nkem's hand in front of all the cameras. This woman, he said, was called nothing. Was treated as cursed. Was hunted and nearly destroyed. But she is everything. She is family. She is the heir. And if she'll have me, she will also be my wife. Nkem's eyes filled with tears. Not as charity, Tabena said. Not as rescue. As an equal. As a partner. As the person I choose. Publicly. Permanently. 6 months later, they married. Not in a palace. In the village. Where everyone who'd shamed her was forced to watch her crowned. Mama Adana's sight was restored by the best doctors. Chima went to the finest schools. They built a foundation. For orphans. For the homeless. For those the world called nothing. And the river priestess, watching from afar, whispered, the debt is paid. The throne is restored. And love has defeated what hate could not destroy. Sometimes the world calls you nothing only because your truth is powerful enough to shatter their kingdom. When love chooses you publicly after you've been crushed privately, it stops being a fairy tale and becomes justice. Thank you so much for watching and please don't forget to subscribe. Where are you watching from?